Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm not wearing my Ushanka because we're gonna talk racing today. That's why I'm wearing my Ferrari hat, because we are going to talk about this big wheel here. This is the Logitech Driving Force GT. I bought it used for just 50 euros on eBay, and honestly for that price it's an amazing wheel. Maybe even a better beginner wheel if your budget is really tight. But this is not going to be a review. That's not what we're going to talk about today. The main problem with this wheel is that it has a major flaw in its design, in its construction. And after 2 days of owning this wheel, I encountered a problem with it. I recorded a video onto Reddit showing how the wheel is obviously not working. As you can see, it just tries to calibrate, rocks back and forth 3 times and then nothing. Now, I looked all over the internet for a solution. Some were saying the wheel's dead, give up on it. Some were saying you need to buy a new adapter, that's the problem. But I found one video from maybe 10 years ago, I don't know, that saved my ass. And first off, I shrugged it off. It showed a guy who a Russian guy who screwed open his wheel, and I was not that committed to fixing it. I was not gonna open this wheel up to, fix it or anything. And the worst thing is it had like the most 2011-y vibe. It had like the fucking bangarang music in the background or whatever. And I was not considering this video as an option for a long time because of that. And, well, TLDR, the tutorial was the actual solution to my problem after I gave in and actually tried what he did in the video. But now, because that video is almost 10 years old and people like me are still having that problem with their wheel, I decided I'm gonna make a remastered tutorial where everything is shown. I'm gonna walk you through all of it. It's gonna be super easy, and it's gonna be fixing your wheel if you have the same problem as I did and the Russian guy who made the tutorial, but that's a different story. So the first thing you want to do is get your wheel ready. Just lay it out in front of you and look at the downside of it. Just turn it around like I do right here in this video. So right here I'm going to point out where you screw the top plate out. I'm going to show each and every one of the holes, so all of these need to be unscrewed so the top comes loose. You're going to want to have a screwdriver and a knife or some other kind of flat prying tool that you can also twist. And then you just get screwing and screwing until eventually the top comes off. There are a lot of screws in there and it might take you some time to get those out, so just be patient. This might take around like 10 minutes or something. At least that's what it was for me. Also note how I tried to use an electric screwdriver right here, but it didn't work out. Don't try, just use a normal screwdriver. So now that we have made our way into the inner workings of the wheel, we're gonna take note of this little tiny black box right here. That's what we're gonna work on. Alright, so now that we have found our way into the internals of the wheel, we've actually not gotten a lot of screwing work to do now anymore. There's only 2 more screws we're gonna have to loosen, and that is behind this black box right here. What you're gonna want to do first is you're gonna want to disconnect this little power connector that goes right into the black box here. Also, take note how there's a pin without a cable connected to it on the right. That's important for us to remember, because we're gonna have to connect it again in the exact same way as we disconnected it. You just grab it right at its base. Don't grab it at its cables, you might rip them out or something. Just, if you have long fingernails, you can like fit them underneath the little gap and then just kind of wiggle it while pulling. And eventually the connector is gonna come out. Alright, so here you have the connector. Make sure you keep that in mind, that it's dangling there. Next you're gonna need your prying tool or your knife or anything that's gonna get underneath this little crack that is underneath the box. Do a little of the work with your fingers right there. Yeah, just create a little notch that you couldn't fit your knife into, and then just twist. You're gonna need something less flexy than mine, and it's gonna pop right off, exposing these tiny things here. So you're just gonna screw off and if you've gotten into this box, you're probably going to have found this tiny little plastic wheel flying around without really any kind of movement or something. That's because it's fallen out. And that is actually the cause of the problem that you're gonna have with your wheel. So once you've gotten this out, you're just gonna insert it onto this iron rod, like that. So the wheel points away from its base. Then you're gonna wanna put the thing back, the circuit board, and then screw everything back into place as it was before. So to do that, you basically just watch this tutorial in reverse. It's really simple. But once you've gotten this wheel back into position, it's basically back in working order. Right, once everything is secure, you're gonna put the black little cover back on again. It should clip right in with an audible click. And you're gonna wanna insert the pins back in. Make sure that, okay, I forgot which way this was actually. I gotta recheck the footage, but if you do, just rewind the video and check where those connectors were. So now that we have put back the infrared plastic wheel back into its place and screwed the top cover back onto the wheel, it should now be working flawlessly. It should calibrate as soon as you plug it into the computer, and it should also, you know, detect the inputs of you moving the steering wheel. So, have fun sim racing, and I don't know, maybe we'll even see some sim racing on this channel, who knows.